I said, guys, we didn't come here for no reason.
Hey, my brother, put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we gonna do it then we do it big. Let's go, baby.
Here's the snap, handoff on the belly dive, and Stevenson's gonna try to root his way in. He breaks through, and he's got the 10, 5, 3, 2 yards, touchdown FSU. The Smarty Stevenson, senior playing his final game. I thought he was tackled to the line of scrimmage. Root hogging his way, and he broke into daylight, and he scores a touchdown.
If we don't get penalties, and we don't get fumbles, and we don't get interceptions, we can win the dead-gum ball game.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. I said, we strong then.
We going
down to the 50, down the sideline to the 40, down to the 30. He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State.
Let's party, Tallahassee.
He's got PK Sam. Open. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Marshall. Touchdown, PK Sam. 55 seconds left. Sam takes a touchdown catch from Ricketts. 52 yards. 52 yards. Florida State leads 37-34. I see you, PK Sam.
Jump shot, Snare. Good shot. Knowles win. Michael Snare's triple with no time left. Florida State beats Duke 76-73. The little team that could just did.
I said, guys, we didn't come here for no reason.
Hey, my brother, put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we gonna do it then we do it big. Let's go, baby.
Here's the snap, handoff on the belly dive, and Stevenson's gonna try to root his way in. He breaks through, and he's got the 10, 5, 3, 2 yards, touchdown FSU. The Smarty Stevenson, senior playing his final game. I thought he was tackled to the line of scrimmage. Root hogging his way, and he broke into daylight, and he scores a touchdown.
If we don't get penalties, and we don't get fumbles, and we don't get interceptions, we can win the dead-gum ball game.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. I said, we strong then.
We going
Down to the 50, down the sideline to the 40, down to the 30. He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State.
Let's party, Tallahassee.
He's got PK Sam. Open. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Marshall. Touchdown, PK Sam. 55 seconds left. Sam takes a touchdown catch from Ricketts. 52 yards. 52 yards.
Welcome to Double Fries No Slaw. We are a day late. It's Monday, December 7th. We are all three in the holiday spirit. But myself, TJ Pittenger, my buddies Richie Barnes and Freddie Stevenson. How you gentlemen doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Just came back from Texas. Big move over the weekend. But hey, it's game. We finally get a game, hopefully. Fingers crossed. How you feeling, Richie?
And I feel good. It's Monday night, and Florida State and Tampa Bay both did not suffer a defeat this weekend, so I can't complain at all.
Tom Brady threw no interceptions this week, so a good week for Richie. For sure. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Not a lot has a lot's going on, but not a lot's gone on since the last time we chatted with you guys last Sunday. Well, we did a pop-up episode. We did a pop-up episode Tuesday. We'll get into a little bit of that. Our grassroots effort that we've had with the Seminole Boosters. Really love what's going on social media with them. We always want to remind you that Double Fries No Slaw is brought to you by Guthrie's, especially in Tallahassee. Visit their 2 locations, 1818 West Tennessee and 2550 North Monroe. I'm excited to get a gut box this weekend. Knock on wood that we get a game so I don't have to get all the way up to Tallahassee like you guys did a couple of weeks ago and be pissed off. But we have some potential exciting stuff coming with Guthrie's. I don't want to give too much away, but in 2021, we're excited about some different things with them. Of course, Double Fries No Slaw is partnered with and powered by the Big Three Roll-Up. They had their Close the Kids drive on Saturday. Went really, really well. Still time to donate. If you go to big3rollup.com, you can click on the front page. You'll see an option for an item that is the Close the Kids drive. Donate thousands of dollars worth of clothing, as well as just thousands of dollars to their organization so that they can clothe kids in need. Check that out if you are in the giving mood this holiday season. First little bit of news that we'll get into. We've got a guest tonight. Sorry for talking there for a ton, but we've got a guest tonight that I don't know if you'd call it broke a little news or made a prediction this week. Florida State is in the market for a transfer quarterback. A quarterback that has been linked to them is UCF's own former national champion Mackenzie Milton. And Mackenzie was linked to Florida State. And this week, which I don't know if we lost him there for a minute or
I'm bad, fellas.
No, you're fine. This week, or today, this morning, a crystal ball was put in for Mackenzie Milton by our guest tonight, JJ Garrett of Bulls 247. So we brought him on to talk about it a little bit. JJ, how you doing tonight, man? What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? I'm good. Just taking care of the fam, getting ready for the week,
Mondays are a busy day, but you made it a little bit more busy for yourself by putting in a crystal ball for Mackenzie Milton. We were just talking about it while you had stepped away. Former national champion and UCF Knight went down with a devastating injury was it in the bowl game or was it in the USF game?
It was in the USF game, yeah, right before the LSU game, Fiesta Bowl.
Brutal injury. He's ready to come back. He's put his name in the transfer portal, and you predicted on 247 that he would pick Florida State. And so we wanted to bring you on and chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us, whatever you can say, right? Like I know there's some things that you can and can't say, but tell us a little bit about Milton. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts of him potentially picking FSU and kind of where your head's at with that and what you're thinking.
Well, I got a text this morning, pretty much. Well, we heard the rumors all weekend about Milton to Florida State as soon as he put his name in the portal. So I didn't really dig too much deep into it over the weekend, but this morning got a text and pretty much said Milton to FSU is done. So then I went ahead and asked a couple more questions because I just don't want to put my name out there attached to 247 and a crystal ball because I know how important that is before I put it in. And they said it's all but done. Paperwork got to get cleared and NCAA protocols and stuff like that. So I went ahead and put the crystal ball in early around 10. And I'm pretty confident in the source because of what they said and how he would bring a different dynamic to the locker room and he's a winner, so we don't have a winner in the QB room right now. So he brings that veteran leadership as well. And I think Norvell's looking for that. Chubba's not the answer. I mean, we don't know how long it'll take him to get right. He came off the collarbone injury. Jordan Travis, we know what Jordan is, and then we've seen Tate so far. And if we get if we get McKenzie, he's a front runner. He'll push these guys he pushed them to a different level. So and Norvell's seen Milton firsthand against UCF while he was at Memphis, and they battled it out for the AAC championship. So I think it's a perfect fit for the 1 year. We're not asking too much out of him, and he can come in, and he did similar things at UCF that Norvell does in his offense. So I think it's a good fit, and that's why I put it in. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, Mike Norvell's very familiar with him from his time at Memphis, having a game plan for him at UCF. So how much do you think that connection maybe plays a role when Mike Norvell, gives his sales pitch and says, hey, man, I had the game plan against you. I'd love for you to be on my sideline this time.
I think Milton took all that into consideration because both AAC guys both want to prove something to the D1, to the FBS guys, that they deserve to be there. And so I think it's an easy transition compared. I don't know what other schools Milton thought about going to, but that seems like an easier transition because how similar the offense is, Scott Frost's offense is to Mike Norvell's. And someone hit me up today about Nebraska, and I'm like, I just don't think at this point in time of Milton's career, make that trip over to Nebraska and get started with him again. They had their success. We know what they did, so just try something different and stay in state, so.
Milton suffered a gruesome injury, and one of my biggest concerns coming back from that thing is how's his recovery process been? I know he prides himself on his mobility. That's a big part of his game, and that'll be something that's asked of him a lot in this offense. And I'm sure that's why Norvell's so high on him. Do you think he'll be able to bounce back from that? What have you been hearing about his rehabilitation process?
To be honest, Freddie, I haven't heard much about that per se, but about his rehab. But everything we're seeing online on Twitter, his rehab has been positive. He's confident in himself. As long as he's confident in himself to come back out, then let him do it. I'm not going to be the one to, or we shouldn't be the ones to tell him not to play because how bad that injury was. But I can't answer how far ahead or how much longer till he gets back on the field, but as long as he's confident, and hopefully 2021 we'll get a full spring where he can get in rhythm a little bit, get a spring game in, go to summer workouts and do all that good stuff. I hope with barring COVID, hopefully he can do that and get in Norvell's system as soon as possible.
JJ, I want to be somewhat delicate with how I ask this, because obviously we want the kid to have his moment and be able to announce on his time. But would you expect this to be happening fairly soon? Is it kind of around the holidays type? Have you heard anything on that, or is he trying to get there as quickly as he can and kind of get with the program, or have you heard that or not?
I asked a question myself, and I didn't get a clear answer, because like you said, the kid wants his moment and put the letter out and thank ECF and stuff like that. I don't have an answer, but hopefully after ECF wraps up their season, I'm not sure I'm sure they're going to a bowl game or right before the bowl game or something like that, so he can get to Tallahassee before they go off to for the holidays. So. Awesome.
JJ, tell everybody where they can find you, what you specialize in, where they can find your work. I know you're part of Bulls 247, which you can shout them out as well, and just where people can find more of what you do.
Yeah, I'm with Bulls 247. I just got on board with them this past off season, recruiting season. So I'm coming up on my 1 year with this cycle. And I'm a regular guy on Twitter, Fly with the J Plane. But I specialize in high school football in the Tampa Bay area. Friday nights, I'm on the sidelines tweeting about the games, the local Tampa games. So I'm pretty connected with some of the recruits in the area. Like this Friday, I'll be at Bloomingdale High School. They host St. Thomas Aquinas. I know some Florida State targets on St. Thomas. but they got some Bulls, some USF targets as well. So I'll just find me there, catch the updates, and just hit me up if you have any questions.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Bloomingdale just knocked off Temple Tech.
Yep.
Temple Tech knocked off my Bartow Yellow Jackets in the first round. Our quarterback was out, but they're a solid team. They got some dogs over there. You think Bloomingdale got what it takes to knock off that monster in St. Thomas?
What I'm thinking today, what it just crossed my mind. I'm like, I hope St. Thomas comes in sleeping. You know, they got I think it's like a 3-hour, 2.5-hour drive to give Bloomingdale a fighting chance. I heard on the sideline, St. Thomas has about like 20 D1 athletes. Bloomingdale's strong. They don't have the D1 athletes. They got the 5-star in Ajay Hall, but they like their center is like 5'6", to be honest, like that. To be honest with you, so they're gonna have to play as a team. You know, the games are won in the trenches, and take it possession by possession, try to kill the clock, which is something they're good at. And then they hit you over the top with a Ajay, or they got another couple of receivers that can take the top off as well. It's gonna be a fighting chance. I know St. Thomas didn't play as many games as Bloomingdale this year, so the reps aren't there. But the reps are there for Bloomingdale. Bloomingdale has a strong defense, so I would think that the defense will give them the best shot to win the game.
I want to ask you this too before we let you go too. Totally different lane. What are your thoughts on Norvell overall? And I know he's inherited kind of a rough situation and not had the best first year and the pandemic and everything else. But what are your thoughts on Norvell long term at FSU? I try to ask everybody that as they come on.
Yeah, it's a good question because my first reaction was he came in with a game plan. You know, press conference sounds good and everything. Came in with a game plan. He knew where we lacked in depth, where we were the weakest link on our O-line. He addressed the D-line with some transfer guys. Then we got to the game, Georgia Tech, and it's like, come out with a script. First couple drives, we put points on the board, and then nothing in the second half. And then same thing against UNC, which was a big win, and then nothing in the second half. But like in our losses, it's just like really bad, like no stagnant, no rhythm, can't get things going, you know. So, and then it seems like he wins the offseason by I mean the recruits he's getting right now are the one we landed today, Peyton, seems like a solid guy, Russian, you know, but I'd rather see him win. I want to see him win the games, and he's just not winning right now. I wanted Willie to get 3 years. I don't know if Norvell would get 3 years, hopefully, depending on how next year looks. But I think 3 years is a minimum to see how a coach will do. If you say like 1 out of 10, I'm at a 5 with Norvell, just because it seems like he knows what he's doing he knows how to talk, you know, get people to come. We got some grad transfers, and recruits, but we don't know how to win the games, you know. And when we lose, we're losing big. So except for the Georgia Tech game, which we should have won, but it's hard. It's hard to gauge because COVID's a free year for everybody, you know. So I'm taking that in consideration as well. So I give him a C, I guess, as an overall C-, but that's where I stand.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just like to get folks' take on that. So JJ Garrett from Bulls 247, for myself, Richie, and Freddie, thank you so much for coming on, hanging out with us. We hope you're right on the prediction as well.
Same, just for my sake.
Yeah, we don't want you to be wrong on it, and we think it'll obviously help FSU in the short term to kind of pull things together.
Yeah.
So, man, thank you so much again for hanging out. I know you've got other things going on tonight and stuff like that, a family and stuff, but we really appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, and keep up the good work.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
JJ Garrett of Bulls 247 breaking down his crystal ball for McKenzie Milton to Florida State via the transfer portal. Cool little feature 24/7 Sports has now. Like, obviously that's such a like, I don't know, necessary evil. I don't know, whatever. But there's so many kids transferring now. It's not like it used to be. So they really do predict it and stuff like that. So he was the first one to put it out.
So I have a quick question for Freddie, because it just popped in my head. But man, like, you were there in 2015 when Jimbo brought in Everett Golson. What was that like in the locker room, and especially talking to guys like Sean McGuire in the quarterback room when they heard they were bringing in a grad transfer who pretty much we all assumed would take the starting job?
Yeah, it was tough because you knew the ability was there, but it just came down to how fast could he learn Jimbo's offense. And we knew from that standpoint, Sean McGuire had the edge, but ability-wise, we knew if Everett could learn the offense, he would have the advantage. So it was just about how long it would take him to learn that and how he would adapt to the guys. We knew Sean had that leadership aspect, and guys had that relationship with him, and Everett had to build that. It was tough on him coming in and doing that.
He started out pretty well in that 2015 year, right? Ended up getting pulled after the Georgia Tech game. We ended up losing that Georgia Tech game. He started well and just couldn't keep it going. It was kind of a weird year for sure, because you had lost so many guys the last 2 years to the pros. But yeah, I'd kind of forgotten that Freddie had lived through that.
Yeah, it was tough for him the first few games. You kind of tried to limit what he could do because we found out early that he wasn't asked to do as much at Notre Dame, and we didn't know that. But when we got in, like, oh, you never ran this before? So get in, and then down the—
You went from Janus to him, man. Like,
yeah, you go down the stretch of games, just working through the progressions and stuff, and guys are like, yo, I'm not getting the ball, but like I've been open for like 5 seconds, he's not seeing me. And it's just him he was kind of rattled in the office, and he just never really had an opportunity to get comfortable. And it's tough to do that in the season.
How did the team accept him? Was it a little tougher because like Sean had been there, or did they kind of just bring Everett in, and
yeah, we showed him love, but at the same time, like when he got that starting spot, it's like, damn, I feel bad for Sean. Sean been grinding.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we showed Everett love. He was one of the guys, but when Sean got that opportunity, we were happy for him.
Sure. Yeah. Sean had, obviously played that Clemson game in 2014 and had been around. So one of the most beloved gifts from the Jimbo Fisher era is Sean on the sideline when Goldman stripped that ball. So, all right, pivoting a little bit, he gives and he takes away at the same time. Florida State got a commit today. They also just lost a commit while we're live on the air as well. So 4-star Peyton out of the Miami area, correct? Outside linebacker commits to Florida State. So some good news there for the Noles. And then as we're recording this and talking with JJ, Malik McClain just decommitted from Florida State and opened back up his recruitment. I said this a couple weeks ago, but I have a tough time getting super excited or super upset when big commits happen. I will say that I will get pretty excited if the Milton thing does go through, because it's kind of an instant impact guy, not a 5-star recruit or 4-star, 3-star, whatever recruit that you have to develop. But so good news and bad news in the recruiting world. And so it's probably just like a net 0 day, right? I mean, I know we don't get super heavy into recruiting, but is the commitment better than the decommit? Is the decommit worse than the commitment, guys? It's all about the same.
Like you said, we don't really get into it too much, but man, I love the commitment. It's a Miami Northwestern high school player, someone, depending on who you talk to, he may or may not have been a take from Miami, but he's what we need. He's an edge rusher. We need someone who can get after the passer. We've been missing that since Brian Burns left Florida State, and this guy could potentially fill that role. So I'm pretty excited to see him. The McClain decommitment, it sucks. Anytime you lose a kid, I'm not going to be that guy that says, oh, it's not a big loss. He wasn't no-blooded. No, that's a loss. But, you have to fully respect him for doing what he thinks is best for him, his future, and his family. So I will never be mad at a kid for, decommitting and going somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think with the guy from Northwestern, even with a lot of the coaches we had in the past that formed that pipeline from Miami to Florida State being gone, it's still, you got a lot of guys on that roster that are from that Miami area. So they're familiar with a lot of guys on the roster. Getting these Miami guys up, that's big. Because now you're bringing in guys that are used to playing ball at a high level. They got to play every game all year. It's high-level football. You can get knocked off by anybody. And these guys, they can run. They're coached up. They come in and they know the game. They understand different concepts. So that'll be big if we can hold on to them. I don't really – it's tough for me to get excited or upset when guys leave because it just depends when these guys are signing. If they're signing like next week, then yeah, it's tough. Wherever they are committed to, that's where they're going to. But if they're signing later on down the line, man, we got time. These guys, they'll decommit from 3 different schools within that time. So we'll be good. I think we'll end up in good shape.
And I'll just say it for anyone who gets mad at a kid that decommits from Florida State, just remember one of our GOATs, Dalvin Cook, was committed to Clemson, committed to Florida, and signed with Florida State. So don't get mad at kids for committing somewhere and picking the other school, because we love when that happens to us. So stay out of their DMs, guys. Do not do that.
One of our best fans ever decommitted and went to Texas A&M. So, I mean, like, it happens. Like, things go down and not always the best. Florida State back on the football field this week. We'll get into a little bit more of a Duke conversation later this week, but Florida State has football again, right? So not talking transfers, not talking commits, decommits, anything like that. Are you guys excited to see football again? Against a team that is not very good. Like, I know we're not very good, but I mean, Duke, if you could think about it, Duke scored less on Miami than we did by a lot, by like 10 points, So anyway.
So we opened as a 3-point favorite this weekend. It's just weird to think we're favored against someone this year, but Duke is bad. Yeah, man. And like you said, we'll get into it in our preview show later this week, but you got to feel good about that. If it gets played, Wake Forest as well, man, that's a game you can win. I probably lean towards Wake right now, but you lose Clemson, but you get 2 games that, and I don't think it's the games that matter the most. It's the kids that are still here that have not opted out. They want to be here. They want to be here next year, and they need these reps. So Freddie, how important is that, just to get these extra reps for 2 weeks of practice, knowing they have a game, so they have that extra motivation?
Mm-hmm. Before I answer that, I'm going to just go out and say this, probably going to piss some Dukies off, but if you play a 4-quarter game and you don't get at least 3 points, something is wrong with you. I don't give a damn how bad we got blown out this year. We scored points, like 3 points. You can't get 3 points. Cancel the football program, man. If we don't win this weekend, it's going to be an issue. We need a win this weekend, Florida State. But to go off what you were just saying, Richie, yeah, it's important. We got a young squad. A lot of different things have been going on this season. A lot of back and forth, a lot of issues, moving guys around, a lot of moving parts. So getting some of these guys reps is critical right now on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, and then getting some guys that didn't really get to contribute this year reps on special teams just to get the feet wet. We're growing each and every week. Guys are growing in their roles. So it'll be big. Like, some guys will get more and more opportunities over these next 2 games. So that'll be important going into next season, next spring. And we definitely need these reps.
It's tough to put anything too much into coach speak, but it does sound like Florida State's been practicing well these last several practices. I think that there's a chance that Florida State players feel like they have something to go out and prove, right? Like, we've been talked about the fact that we're avoiding games and quitting on games. And then they also felt like they probably weren't going to have a season at some point, right? Like, after that Virginia game, we all kind of canned it, right? And said, it's over. Basketball time. Hoops me. Like, let's roll. And now you've got 2 very winnable games in Duke and Wake Forest. Duke is really bad. I've said this. Their 2 wins this year are Charlotte and Syracuse. Syracuse is the worst team in the ACC, played without their quarterback, and that's how Duke beat them. And then Charlotte's awful. Obviously not a team that anybody in the ACC would lose to, except for maybe Syracuse. And so, not that Florida State's been impressive by any means outside of that North Carolina game, but Florida State can and should beat Duke. Wake will be tougher for sure, but we'll worry about next week's game next week. I like the Noles to find a way to win on Saturday. It sounds like Jordan Travis is 100% healthy, or so we're being told. And so he's at least healthy enough to go. And so I'm excited to see the guys play. Speaking of that, Freddie and I are going up to Tallahassee for the game. I'm excited for that. Everybody else has plans this weekend. Harlan has a bachelor party. Richie has a Christmas party. Ed's getting married. Brian's coaching. But Me and Freddie are going to go up and have a good time this weekend. There has been, well, sort of around that. Well, we'll get to that news a little later. Maybe I won't bring that up, but sort of around that, there has been, since we had our episode last Tuesday night, a pop-up episode with CEO of the Seminole Boosters, Michael Alford, there has been an absolute rise or groundswell in signups for Seminole Boosters. Hundreds of people have signed up over the last week. They said 100 people signed up within the first 24 hours of Alford being on. And then they said another 100 people did the next day. And I don't know what the numbers look like day after day after day. And it's been about a week since he was on. But man, hats off to you guys. Hats off to Freddie. James Coleman, I know, has been very, consequential in this, kind of just encouraging people, getting the word out, spreading the word. When we talked about having a Seminole Booster on, I kind of just thought like, that'd be cool. Like, we'll do it to do a pop-up episode. And it has blown up farther than I would have ever imagined or ever expected. So shout out to you guys for really believing in that and seeing that. And, shout out to the team here and everybody on social media that's really, really pushing that. Our guys over at the Listen Up podcast, I know that they have been pushing a ton as well. And a lot of podcasts out there are doing the same. A lot of people on social media, but it's been really cool to watch, so many people go and sign up. So many people increase their donations. I know that everybody on here is a booster and either has increased or started donating. And it is really cool to see that. So I'll let you guys get your thoughts off, but in the meantime, go to Seminole. If you haven't yet, go to SeminoleBoosters.com, sign up. You can sign up for $5 a month. You can sign up for $70 a year. Their higher levels aren't even really that expensive either. I looked at one of them. I think you can sign up for like $350 and it's like $15 a month or something simple, like less than a lunch out. So consider giving, consider helping out. They've got goals that they want to hit. And we're going to help them hit it because we're going to not stop bugging you until you guys all sign up and do it. So, all right. Thoughts on all of that? I know I just rambled for a long time.
First, I would like to say Florida State football, man. We definitely have to get this thing together because over the past few days, I've been getting killed by Miami and Florida fans. They got memes of me begging for like the feed the children meme. My girl been taking my phone saying chill out. Y'all don't understand how hard these past few days because this is what I do. Like I live for these Twitter trolls. She been taking my phone saying Twitter finger, sit down for a few days and just do your thing. So Florida State football, I shed a few tears over the past few days. I need y'all to get right, man, because this past few days been tough for me, man.
Yeah, man, it's important, right? Like I said, even if you can only do the $5 a month, do it. But to anyone who's like, if rival fans think they're trolling us by like giving us a hard time for raising money for the football program that we all love, like, okay, like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I'm a diehard Nole. I have been my whole life. I'm fortunate enough to be in a place where I can give to Florida State right now, and I plan to do so. And I'm gonna get every friend on board as well. So I have no shame in pushing this because I think it's a great effort, and we need it now more than ever.
You know what they say? They say he who laughs last, laughs the loudest. So they're laughing now, but once everything's back rolling, like I said, we get this thing back rolling. We're not going to be competing for 8 wins, 9 wins a season. We're going to be competing for championship. So we'll let them laugh right now.
Dude, that's the truth because, when Miami was on probation in the 90s, Florida State and Florida took advantage of that and won national championships. When Florida State struggled didn't really struggle because they were in it the year before. But when Florida was down in early 2000s, Miami went on, won a national championship. When Florida and Miami were both down in the late 2000s, Florida and Florida State won national championships. And so the teams in the state have always taken advantage of that. In the 80s, when we were missing field goals, Miami was winning, right? Right now, Florida's on top for sure. But what are they doing with that, right? Like they're beating us. There's no doubt they're the best team in the state, but are they going to that next level and winning championships? And they're clearly not, right? So still way behind other programs in the country. And so at least we can kind of hang our hats on that. But yeah, no, I agree. We'll take the trolls. It's about to pay off in a big way, not just Well, in just several ways, it's about to pay off. So y'all keep memeing Freddie because it's fine for me. And plus, I think they're funny, so that's all right. I think about the song every time it comes on. Like I get the Sarah McLachlan in my. That's what I'm gonna play on the way out today. Is "In the Arms of an Angel." Like it's just perfect for it. So, but if you haven't, go sign up. SeminoleBoosters.com, $5 a month. You can actually donate less if you choose to, but you have to be at a certain level. You can donate less. Like you can just give a one-time gift if you can't afford $5 a month. But go sign up, go share the good news. And if you haven't, go listen to our episode last Tuesday with Michael Alford. Really, really good stuff there on what they do with what they do with the funds, what they're looking to build and do and grow and continue to progress the program forward. Not only is football back this week, Richie, hoops is back. We've got a couple big games this week. I'm excited for football, but I'm excited to beat the Gators again on Saturday. I might even pull out that Jimbo gift one more time. Like I don't even.
We just beat the damn
bad
Gators.
about it. Yeah, I don't even feel bad about it, man. I am ready to beat them.
No, man, I'm really excited. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch Florida State's opener against UNF last week. Ham kind of treated it like an exhibition game. He played 12 guys within the first 5 minutes of the game. Which is classic Ham, right? He wants to be the deepest team in the league, and he will be. I figure that'll be closer to 9-10 guys most nights once we get to league play. But then we got a big revenge game against Indiana Wednesday night. It was at 9:15 p.m. And I tweeted out my disgust with such a late tip off because I'm an old man and I can't sit till 11 o'clock. And like an hour later, it got changed to 7:15. And then, like you said, TJ, and I think you and Freddie might be able to go to it. We got the Gators on Saturday at 11 a.m. So I'm pumped to wake up, turn game day off at 11 and watch Florida State hand number 7 in a row to the Gators. Freddie, you catch any of this UNF game, or you excited to see Indiana and Florida this week?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of the game. I'm excited about it, man. Just what Ham's building over there, man. Hopefully we get an opportunity to watch the game on Saturday. I know there's been a lot of hype around this team, and then we got a lot of hype around some of the guys surrounding our team. Scotty Barnes, I seen him trending all over Twitter. Right. I'm excited to see him in action live. So I'm excited about this game, and of course, I hate Florida. Want to get another one on them. I don't care what sport it is. I don't want to lose to the Gators. So I hope we can get one pulled out on Saturday, man.
Now, I'm super excited for that. Richie talked about turning off. It'll be perfect from where you're at, Richie, to turn off game day. And then right at halftime, you get to watch the last 10 minutes, of course, those picks, and then flip it right back over at noon when the second half starts. Freddie and I are trying to go to the game, but if for whatever reason we can't make it to the game, I'm going to go watch the game at Madso and, just drink until 4 until we go into the FSU football game because I'll need it, I'm sure. So, super excited to watch them. Florida has not won against Florida State until 2013. So the year, it's been a long time. So hopefully we keep that streak going and Ham can hand his son another loss in Tallahassee this weekend. Somebody just put this in the chat, and this is how bad I am at all this, but Anthony Whedon just committed. I don't know a ton.
He's a preferred walk-on. Yeah, preferred walk-on.
Is that like a transfer?
No, it's a high school preferred walk-on, so not a scholarship, but
okay.
It's
good
depth.
We'll take everything we can get at this point.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So no complaints there. So good. The Lord gives, he takes away, and then he gives a little bit more. So I don't know that we've evened out tonight, but we are maybe just like plus a little bit.
I think it's a slight net positive.
Net positive. Yeah. I would take. This is not anything about either kid, but if you gain and lose a 4-star, I'll take the 4-star at the edge rusher over the wide receiver. Right now, exactly. based on team need, right? Like if we had, the best even, So anyway, it was a net positive day for sure. Plus then you add in JJ's crystal ball, and it could be a really, really positive day. So, but excited for FSU football to be back this week. Excited for FSU hoops. Freddie's got something he's doing that I want him to talk about before we get out of here. And I'm not rushing off. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about, we certainly can. But super excited about what Freddie has going on with his book. And Freddie, tell the people, I don't know that we've really talked about this very in depth on the show. I'm kind of putting you on the spot because I didn't really say anything about it. But tell the people about your book. Give them a little a quick little synopsis, and then tell them about what you've got going on Twitter, how they can maybe grab the book either through the giveaway or just how they grab the book in general.
Okay. Yeah, book it just talks about my rise, like overcoming poverty, being homeless as a child, just fighting through all those different obstacles. My obstacles coming from in high school, not knowing whether or not I have an opportunity to play at the collegiate level. I had a crazy injury my junior season, and I had no offers. I broke my leg, broke my ankle, lost all the cartilage in my ankle, so I didn't know where that would end up. Went through that process, ended up getting offers from damn near every school in the country while I'm bedbound, and just talks about a lot of different obstacles I overcame. And then you go to Florida State, I talk about some of the situations I faced there and overcame there. Continue on to the league, transition to the league, get an opportunity there with the Bears. Things didn't work out. Talk about the political side of the game, the side of the game that I had no idea about. And that's what my question when I asked, we had Kirk on last week, I think it was 3 weeks ago, we had him on. It's so important to me because a lot of guys, they think you just come in, and for some guys get hit with politics at the collegiate level. But some guys, they go through and it's always the best player plays. So you get to the pros, and for some guys, it's not about who was the best, who can do this, who can do that. Some guys it's about relationships, who they have money invested in, and just being in the right situation. You'll see it all the time. And some guys, they have that, they're able to transition after that, and some guys aren't. They're not able to adapt. And you see it for a long time. Guys are 40 years old still talking about, like, I got a lot of friends now that, I hate to say it, like, I have more film than them in the league. They never had an opportunity, but they're still chasing that dream. And I'm telling them all the time, like, man, it may be time to transition, but they're not able to. And I had that phase. Like, when I was done, I thought I'd be a guy that played 10, 15 years. So I didn't get that opportunity. Then I started going back to some of the things I grew up seeing when I was growing up, started making bad decisions. And then ultimately it was a few things that forced me to change my lifestyle around for the better. And I just started transitioning, and then God just started opening doors for me. So the book is called Trials of Triumph. Just about being at rock bottom in your life and knowing that even when life gets its lowest, you can still overcome those situations and be successful in life.
No, awesome. I'm actually in the middle of a book right now that I actually want to bring the author on. It's nothing. It's not really motivational like yours is. It's a fiction book that a buddy of mine put in my hands, and I feel like I do 86 podcasts a week, so I feel like I never have time to read stuff. But I am almost done with it, and then I'm going to read yours. Like, I've got yours up next. I actually jumped yours ahead of another one that somebody else had told me to read. So, like, I read really slow, but I'm excited to read it and excited for some people to get that in their hands. I see the comments all the time of people just saying, like, man, I couldn't put it down. I started reading it. I've read it all the way through. I couldn't stop. So I'm excited to get it. I'm excited for other people to get it. Make a great Christmas gift. Definitely encouraging. And I'm excited
that's the part I left out. So yeah, right now on Twitter, I'm doing this thing where I'm giving away books. So I think on Twitter, I chose 5 people. It's a tweet I posted. If you retweet and just comment under, you have to be following, of course. I'm giving away 5 books. But as I was doing that, I had people reach out to me like, man, I'd rather just buy a book and have you send it out to people. So this morning I had a few people reach out. They bought multiple books, and I'm sending them out to people that may not win the initial drawing, but they may win this later on down the line. So there'll be a lot of people I'll be sending out free books, free signed copies to over the holidays.
Yeah, no, that's super, super dope. And so go find that tweet on Freddie's page, retweet it, and enter to win that. If you can't find it, DM one of us or DM the pod account or DM Freddie, and we'll get you entered. How long do they have? December 12th, 14th? When did it go through?
On December 18th, I'm choosing 5 people off Twitter, and then on Instagram, I'm choosing 3 people.
Cool. So message, myself or one of the guys or the pod account of Freddie, and we'll show you, make sure you get entered to win as well. Guys, that's all I had for the night. Oh, you know what? No, I want to ask this as well. Who has enough changed? Has anything changed since the last time we talked? Have your playoff teams changed, or is everything the same? And then I want to, if not, we don't have to kind of recap them all. But if everybody's playoff teams are the same, if it's still like Alabama, everybody has Alabama, everybody has Clemson, everybody has Ohio State, right? And then, is there one more?
Now you do.
Well, now I do.
You didn't have them last time.
I said they didn't deserve it, but I think they make it. Is that, I wouldn't.
I'm just saying you didn't have them last time.
But I thought that they would get in. I thought that's who they would pick. And then who's the fourth team? Everybody have a fourth team. I'll go Notre Dame, and I'll say take them losing close to Clemson and getting in.
Yeah, I think a close loss to Clemson puts Notre Dame in, and the ACC has two teams as the premier football conference in the country. But yeah, it's Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State. And if one of them loses, I really think Jimbo might have done enough. That was an impressive win at Auburn. I would love to see Jimbo get in as the 4 seed and potentially get a chance to upset Bama, which probably doesn't happen, but I'd love for him to get another chance at him. Freddie, I know you saw that Texas A&M game on Saturday.
Yeah, I was watching that. I was on the road driving, and I'm swerving on the road. I'm watching the game, man. I'm coming back from Texas, and I see Jimbo there in the dogfight early. Auburn jumped out on them, but Jimbo, that second half, man, they went on the little run and they took control of that game. And I agree with you. I think if anything happens to where Clemson just dominates Notre Dame, then you may be having a situation where they try to get A&M in there if they continue to look good how they've been looking. But if it's a close game, Notre Dame's getting in.
What about the Heisman? Who do there's a big debate going on in Big Three Twitter about Trask and Jones. What are your thoughts there?
For me, and he won't win it, but I think Devontae Smith should win the Heisman Trophy. He is the best player in the country, man. He is ridiculous, and to think he was in the same recruiting class as Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy, and he might be the best one of the bunch, and we'll see when he gets to the league. But I fully expect Kyle Trask to win it, even if the only way I think Mac Jones jumps Trask is if they just blow Florida out. And I don't see that happening. I think Alabama's going to win the game, but I think it'll be fairly close within 2 scores. So yeah, I think Trask, it's definitely his to lose heading into the last week here.
Well, before Freddie answers, the Vegas odds, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Vegas odds on that switched to where
Really?
Jones is actually the favorite now.
Really?
It's slight. It's not like massive, but Jones is the favorite in a lot of books. And so I don't know if that, to me, that kind of says that it's now Jones's to lose, right? Like if he just holds serve.
But I think you worry about Jones and Devontae Smith splitting votes, right? Like we saw it when it was Matt Leinart.
I just trust
Bush.
I just trust Vegas.
Yeah, I trust Vegas too, but they're wrong occasionally. But yeah, man, I definitely think if I had a vote, I would pick Devontae Smith. If I had to predict who it would be, I would think it's going to be Kyle Trask.
Freddie?
Yeah, you see it so often. I think Kyle Trask is the guy, but you see it so often where the guy with the most impressive team ends up winning his Heisman, even if he isn't the best player in the country. So I think if Alabama wins convincingly against Florida, then Mac Jones will be your guy. And that's just how it goes. And he's no slouch, but I feel like Trask is the best player in the country right now. But I think Mac Jones will win it if they end up beating Florida.
Yeah, Trask is having, and I've debated Allie Peak pretty hard on this on our show, but Trask is definitely having the best year. Jones has been more efficient. They just know how to run the ball in Tuscaloosa and in Florida. It's some combination of either doesn't know how to run the ball or only throws the ball, right? And not that there's anything wrong with this, but the passing game at Florida is so good that they just never run. I looked at Trask's 4 touchdown drives, and they ran the ball 2 times on those 4 drives. 2 drives they didn't run at all, and 2 drives they ran the ball 1 time. And so they just refused to run the ball. If Alabama was that uneven, I mean, Jones would have 35 touchdowns as well, but Alabama has a really good running backs and doesn't feel the need to continue to pass late into games like Florida does. So I think that gets recognized. I think that stats mean a lot, and Trask's stats are insane, but I also think the Heisman voters understand. I want to say Florida running backs have like 4 touchdowns this year. Like Florida's rushing to passing totals is like 36-6, right? Like Florida running backs have 4, Trask has 1, and Kadarius Toney has 1, right? So this week that just passed, they had 4 passing touchdowns, no rush. So like just very unbalanced. And I think that voters kind of understand that, right? That all they do is pass. I've talked with Allie about this. Freddie, your 2013 year, Jameis had 40 passing touchdowns, which was amazing. And he won the Heisman with 40 passing touchdowns. Florida State running backs had 42 rushing touchdowns. So as great as Jameis was, we ran for more touchdowns than we threw that year. So Florida is like the complete opposite, where they have 35 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns, So I don't know. I think the Heisman voters are kind of seeing how unbalanced that is, and they're not putting Jones and Trask have the same number of yards. They have about the same completion percentage. They have the same number of yards per attempt. The only thing that Trask has is touchdowns, which are very impressive. But again, they're just so unbalanced that I think voters kind of see that. At least I hope they do. I mean, one less recruiting tool. I mean, I think any Florida State fan would say like, yeah, I hope Florida doesn't win, SECs and Heismans and national championships, because that only helps them. So Mac Jones, hopefully he wins it. Anybody but Florida's guy. Any thoughts before we get out of here? Anything we didn't hit on? Anything that we said we would talk about and forgot about? Or are you guys ready to do some shout outs and get out of here?
I think that's it for me. What about you, Richard?
I'm just excited. I like we talked about, we opened the season versus UNF last week, but we really opened the season this week for Leonard Hamilton and the gang. So I'm pumped to see us take on Indiana Wednesday night.
Big rematch coming up on Wednesday. Was not a fan of how they blew us out last year in Indiana. So let's beat the hell out of the Hoosiers Wednesday night. We'll be back probably Thursday night, unless something crazy happens between now and then. If JJ ends up being right, maybe we'll do a pop up here or there, but be back Thursday night to talk about this Duke game and break that down. And I'm excited for Freddie's extra sauce segment that'll be out on Sunday, hoping we have a game, knock on wood, presented by the Lemieux Company. But super excited for that. That'll come out. Well, no, that comes out on Monday, but that'll be out on Monday for you guys as well. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/doublefriespod, and you can get some access to some exclusive cool stuff there. I finally got all the gear and merch and stuff out that I needed for that. So glad for our supporters. And last thing I want to mention before we do some shout outs, if you're not, go sign up at SeminoleBoosters.com. You can become a booster for a little over, just right at $5 a month, and no better investment for that. Take one Starbucks out of your life or one double cheeseburger out of your life, or all the double cheeseburgers out of your life, and convert that to something more healthy, but then give $5 of that to the Seminole Boosters a month. Shout outs, Richie, Freddie.
No shout outs for me tonight. I can't think of none.
I know Richie doesn't let a chance to shout people out to go by, so go ahead.
I got nothing.
All right, well then, if that's the case, shout out Mac Jones. I hope he wins the Heisman. Who's got the song? And let's get out of here.
You this time, I think Richie. I win, then Richie went last. So it's you, TJ.
You said you had one earlier in the show.
I was just kidding about Arms of the Angel, bro. Like that was not. I really didn't have one. Hold on, I'm looking real quick. These people, they're not in that big of a hurry. What did I just listen to? Harlan, It's My Life, Bon Jovi.